Hello, hello. And yes, I am here live, or at least I think I am. Let me double check. Can you believe it's already 3 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, the last Wednesday of April already? Again, the time just flies, but at least we can share the Janome love no matter where we are in the world. Let's see. There I am on Janome. Oh, yes, Janome Canada Live. And then, yes, I am on Janome America Live. Lovely. Janome Sewing Machines, Janome America, Janome Canada Facebook Live, and Janome Canada YouTube channel, which was formerly known as Janome HQ. And then I'm also streaming live to the Janome America YouTube channel. Oh, and my sister Deb is here right away. Lovely. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me today. It's always wonderful to see you all. I just want to make sure, whoops, yep, that's all silent so no one disturbs me. Yes, thank you everyone so much for joining me today. It's wonderful to see you all again on this last Wednesday of April. It's been wonderful. April has had 5 Wednesdays, so this has been wonderful that to do more for National Serger Month, to do more of our fabulous Janome Sergers. So today I wanted to share with you, we've been sewing all along this month on our Sergers. And if you remember, as a little recap, we talked about things like doing this cute little rolled hem technique. This is specifically the lettuce edge, which is all nice and curly, crinkly. And again, we could do it on garments. This is just a scarf I made out of a hunk of knit fabric. I didn't even cut it. I just did that lettuce edge on the knit scarf. Or of course, we did the fabulous Serger blanket stitch. Yes, a blanket stitch done on the Serger. Look how even that is, how perfect it is. And again, on scarves, I had just this chunk of wool melton left over from another project, and I did in red thread. Look at that beautiful. That's the backside, and that is the Serger blanket stitch. So yes, we've been sewing all month, and then yes, even our sergers can do this pole block here with that beautiful fussy cut Tamaracate fabric. Yes, serger piecing for quilting, yes. And when we use accessories like the serger cloth guide that I demonstrated last week, then again we can do this precise piecing with our sergers. And then one of the other attachments that I demoed last week was this yarn. Instead of binding this, it's a cute little picnic blanket I made for the kids a few years ago. Then instead of binding, then I just couched yarn, this big fuzzy yarn that we get at the discount store, so it doesn't cost a lot. But this beautiful fuzzy yarn that I attached on this quilt with the beading attachment for the serger. But instead of a string of pearls, I used beads. So how beautiful is that? So yes, there's so much we can do with our Janome sergers. And yes, as we've been doing all this sewing and serging, let me flip the camera here to then say, how can we clean and maintain? There we go. Clean and maintain our sergers. Oh no, my ring light is going to be in the way. I got a new ring light. There we go. There, that's a little better. So yes, now here is, and can I steady this? Oh, there's trouble with new props. Once again, I'm on my fabulous. This is the AT2000D top of the line air thread serger. That is the FA4 free arm serger. And yes, when we get into cleaning and maintaining our serger, now we do always recommend, let's take our sergers to the fabulous Janome dealer at least once a year. Depending on how much sewing you're doing, though, you may want to take it maybe twice a year. But there's a lot we can do in between taking it to the Janome service technician, authorized Janome service technician. Your instruction manual is your friend. Flip to the table of contents and look through. It's typically at the back of the machine. I always put these little cheat sheets that I can find it there. Care for your machine. Every Janome Serger goes through these step by step. Look at all those pictures. They show you exactly what to do, exactly what to do. So there is no guesswork. Pages and pages of it here, no guesswork of what to do. And specifically, they will show you when it comes to oiling the machine. Boom, they show you exactly where to put the oil. So we just don't, does Janome have a cover stitch machine? Yes, absolutely, there are several. You can go on janome.ca or janome.com. Top of the line is the CP3000P, but there's also the CPX 2000, CPX 1000. There was the CPX 900, but I believe that's been discontinued now. But yes, go on, check your instruction manuals. And again, step by step. This one is for the FA4 specifically. And again, they go through, the sergers are more similar than they are different. And they go through, again, step by step, how to clean and maintain your serger. Specifically, again, oiling. We don't just want to arbitrarily do it. If your machine says to oil it, they usually then will come with this little vial of oil. And again, there will be instructions in your manual. Now, if your machine does not come with oil, as a general rule, we say, well, then don't oil it. But there's a few things you could do. I get these oils, again, sewing machine oil. Do not use vegetable oil, cooking oil. Don't use 3-in-1 motor oil. None of that. We use good quality sewing machine oil. And I love these, again, with this telescoping thread, or this telescoping spout here. So then we can get it exactly where we need. So double check with your Janome dealer. In fact, we even had a Janome branded bottle similar to this. So double check your Janome dealer and see what they have. Good quality sewing machine oil. So then we want to oil in specific areas. Now, when I remove our looper cover here and our scrap catcher, again, we've been doing all this sewing, so that we just toss out in the trash. But let's open our looper covers here. And the cool thing with the AT2000D Serger, once my looper covers are open here, I can't use the serger at all. If I step my foot on the gas, it won't work with these looper covers open. Now, with other sergers, though, as a safety precaution, we want to turn the machine off, and even you can go one step further and unplug the power cord. So that way there is no power to your serger at all. You won't get distracted, you won't get taken away, and then maybe the kids accidentally get into it. So this way it's very safe. So when we go to clean out, again, ooh, this is where I need several hands. When we go to clean out the serger, look at all that lint in there. Now, included with your serger comes these little brushes here, and you can get in and clean all of this out. And then again, we want to get in and clean all of this out. But we can also get from our Janome dealer maybe some bigger brushes, or even we used to have these on the shopping channel, these little vacuum cleaners, and that'll help you vacuum in there. So again, double check your with your Janome dealer, what do they have to help clean out your serger. Again, they all come with the little brush, but see what other brushes are there. Now, when we get into cleaning, we're going to cut. This is where people get really scared, but we're going to cut these threads off. And then we're going to come down to the needle. And if you have both needles in play, it's best to remove both. I am going to just remove, I've already removed one, so I'm going to remove the other one. So remove your needle. Now, a great place to keep the needle. Again, that comes included with the AT2000D here is this little tool that will hold the needle in place, and this is great to use when we're ready to reinsert it. The other side here helps, again, move that manual spreader in play for when we do our 2 threads. But they're included in some sergers, as well as our cover hem machines, is the Janome manual needle threader. So we can get this in a blister pack if needed, and there it will hold my needle. So we could use that to help remove the needle so it doesn't drop down into the needle area. And then that way we know where the needle is next time we need it. So now if your needles are, maybe if you haven't changed your needle in a while, now would be a good time to remove it then and throw it away while you're cleaning it, and then put in some new needles as well. Now I want to remove the presser foot, and then again, check your instruction manual, but most of our sergers have one screw here at the front that we're going to remove, and then we can pop up the needle plate here. So by removing the presser foot, it makes it easier. Ooh, and then this is just a little, again, you won't be in the way with like a camera in the way, that it'll be easier to remove this when you don't have a camera in the way, that you can remove your needle plate. Now, a good spot for this screw would be on the magnetic Janome pin pal here, so you don't lose it. Or maybe you go back and review. Remember, I did this last year, but you can see it on the Janome HQ YouTube channel and our respective, Facebook is now deleting the lives after 30 days. Go back to Janome America YouTube and Janome HQ or Janome Canada YouTube. I made this little mat with decorative stitches, and you see here I have my presser foot holder here for the FA4, my extra needle stabbed into the pad so I won't lose it, my needle plate, and there is the little screw under this needle plate, so I won't lose that screw. That needle plate is kind of anchoring that screw. But in this little mat, things aren't going to roll around. You're not going to lose it. So those are all the parts and pieces you're removing that you'll put back together. And then because you've clipped out your needle thread, you just pull it through, and then all of your looper threads, you're going to, again, floss your machine. You're not going to pull the threads up back through the tensions. You're going to pull them down through the tensions and floss your machine. That's what Nancy Zeman taught me all those years ago. Remember her from Sewing with Nancy? I loved her. She was wonderful. So we remove the thread. We pull it out here to floss the machine there. So now we can get in between the tensions here to clean those out. There's specific instructions on how to clean these air threading chambers for the AT2000D, which I'll go through. But by removing the needle plate there, it is all exposed, so it'll be easier to get into between the feed dogs. Now, in most sergers, the AT2000D included, we can open this side looper cover here. And then again, we get in with our little brush. Now, this is where as well, before I do that, I can remove this foot holder. You see, I just loosen that screw. The foot holder just drops right down. I don't have to remove this screw. I can leave that in place. But there is my foot holder. So this way I can get in way easier, and look at already, and I keep my machines pretty clean. But again, I've been using them all month, and I purposely did not get in. I typically will clean out my serger about every 2 or 3 times that I use it, depending on what I'm doing. When you use lots of, things like flannel, for example, that produces a lot of lint. If you have 100% cotton fabric, that'll produce more lint than a polyester fabric, for example. And your, cotton flannel will produce more lint than a really sturdy denim fabric, for example. So depending on what you're serging, you may not need to clean out your serger every time, but every couple of times do get in there in between the feed dogs, and this is where this sharper end of this brush really come into play. If it's compacted in there, we can help push out the lint. We don't want to use anything sharp, like a screwdriver point or anything. We can use this plastic point of the brush here to just, again, get in between the feed dogs. Now, depending on how you adjust your serger, you may want to, again, lower here in the AT2000D. It's just this simple little dial. I can lower my knife blade to get it out of play and go in there and clean it out. Now, we have a upper knife, and then we have a lower knife down here, which I can adjust with turning this dial. So then I can move my lower knife out a little bit away. So again, I can get my brush right in there to clean. And again, we're going to clean all of these. This is my upper looper right here. I'm going to clean all of that. This is my lower looper right here. I'm going to clean all of that and get in all around these areas to get it all clean. Look at all that you can get. Other things that you can get, again, from your Janome dealer, perhaps these cute little, they almost look like felt cleaners, pipe cleaners, that they have this little magnetic piece. Again, you can get, look at all that. They work so good. I love them. Specifically, I get mine from Quilt in a Day. My fabulous Eleanor Burns. So yes, you get in all there and you pick up all of that. So whatever your Janome dealer has. Now, the question comes up sometimes. So we want to clean all of this before we oil. And I love using the t-shirt rags when we make the t-shirt quilt. We can get in here as well and wipe all of this down. We don't want to use any solvents, any cleaning materials, no Windex and spray cleaners or anything. We just want to wipe it all down with our soft cloth. I specifically like these t-shirt rags when we make a t-shirt quilt, and these are like the sleeves left over. I love using it because then again, there's no lint, so we don't have to worry about leaving lint in our machine. Let's go up here to the tensions as well. We want to make sure our presser foot is up. That's going to open the tension discs. And this is where we can, again, use the lint-free rag. This is where, again, the t-shirts have been washed and washed and washed, so there's no lint. Or we could use a piece of paper, and you take a credit card, or this is one of the hotel cards that I sometimes walk away with because I travel a lot for work. And sometimes here's the key to my room. So by opening the tension discs, again, we can take this piece of paper with this thicker card in between, and we slide it through. Again, we're going to floss these tension discs. We're going to slide it through, and any kind of lint, any kind of debris, again, we could do it with paper, or again, we do with our little lint-free rag here, and we just go through the tension discs here. If there's any kind of lint and debris, this will help clean it out. And this is why we don't want to pull our threads up through the tension. That's going to bring the lint and the dust back through the tension. We want to cut the threads at the top and then pull them down. We want to floss the machine. And same thing here. I'm flossing the machine, going down. I'm pulling out all that lint and debris that may be in between the tension discs here. So then when I've made sure everything is all nice and good, I've swept it all out. Something that comes up every once in a while, people ask, can I use this canned air? So long as, and typically in our sewing machines, no, we do not want to use canned air. In the sergers, they're a little different in that so long as you have this side looper cover. So you see I have my front looper cover open, I've got my side looper cover open. So then I can indeed spray look at all that lint that's coming out here. I can spray just a little bit. We don't want a lot. I can just do a little bit here and get into some of those hard to reach areas because it's open. I'm blowing the lint from here and it's open, so it's blowing the lint through. We don't want to use, if I couldn't use this, open this looper cover, for example, I wouldn't want to use this canned air because the lint can't go anywhere. So that's the kind of caveat with your canned air. You can technically use it with your serger. It will help, again, blow it out, but so long as the lint can blow out of the machine. So in this case, yes, it blew it all over my table. So that's fine. So yes, I can use it. Now our technician, however, our technician at our Janome headquarters here in Janome, Canada, says after, if he does use the canned air, he will go in again with the t-shirt rag and he will just wipe everything down because the canned air, it's a propellant and it has a little bit of moisture in it. So to avoid leaving the moisture on the metal, our technician recommends if you are going to use canned air, you go in and you dry everything off again with your t-shirt rag, your lint-free cloth, so that way there's no moisture left on the metal. So I thought that was a great tip. Again, here in the FA4, I would not use canned air because there is no side looper cover that opens. So instead, this is where I will use the brush. And again, I would push the lower knife over so then I can get in between. And again, I would use my brushes to get in here and remove all the lint. Use your soft cloth. I would not use canned air because again, this side does not open. There's no looper cover. This is for the free arm. So that's the only difference there. So when we get into oil, and again, your fabulous instruction manual will say there is often a little spot. Again, check your individual manuals. Up at the top, it'll say to put in a little drop, like up at the top. But we're only going to do a tiny little drop. Like we don't want a ton. We want to maybe 1 drop, maybe 2 drops. And there's going to be some specific spots on the machines where they tell you to put a drop of oil in specific spots. But generally, we're going to do wherever metal meets metal. So here on my AT2000D, can we see here with the, just get a little tool that I can point to. Here, the upper looper, do you see this shaft, this metal shaft is coming through this little cup link here. So I'm going to put a little drop of oil around where, around where, there we go. I don't want too much. I want metal right, you see where this shaft comes through that little cup link, and then you can rotate the balance wheel and just help to move that oil. You see it's going to go down this shaft there, and it's going to go down into that solid like metal block cup link there. So that is going to help moisturize that. So any spot where metal is basically moving on metal. So here for my lower looper, it'll be easier. Again, it's hard for me to get up really close. But as we have, again, metal on metal, so we would get down, I'll show you on, it'll be easier, I think, on the FA4. Then when we have metal on metal. So as we come down here, again, I would do that for my upper looper, and then we can go down here to the lower looper, again, as these parts are moving. And just drop in like little bits of oil as metal moves on metal. Do you see back in here? That's what I want. That a little bit of oil back in here as, again, we get these parts moving. I'll do a little bit of oil there. Anything that's going to move. We don't want to go too much. And then again, specifically, the various machines will have certain details of where we're going to put the oil. So consult your instruction manual. So here on the AT2000D, for example, there are some little holes like in here that they say, oh yes, put a little drop of oil in there because again, this is moving. You see how it rotates. Put a little drop of oil in there. Boom. And you see, because that's rotating, so that's, I'm going to put a little drop of oil in there. I'm going to put a little drop of oil down here where, again, this is going to move. So we're not going to just arbitrarily put oil anywhere. We're going to, again, what the instruction manual tells us to. But if your machine does not have specific instructions of where to oil, we have a wonderful blog on Janome Life blog, actually several blogs on Janome Life about oiling your serger. And again, we're going to specifically go into here, like the upper looper here, again on that metal shaft. We're going to oil in there. We're going to oil anywhere that the parts are moving on the loopers. Now here with the AT2000D, because of these air threading chambers, we definitely do not put oil there. But it comes included with our machine are these little looper threaders in this little bag. They're these little wire looper threaders. Do you see there's a little loop on this one end? And this is what we will use when we have this thicker thread. This is a 12 weight thread. So this often does not want to go through the using the air threading capabilities of the machine. This heavier thread often won't go through just with the air threading. So this is how we can get it through. And this is how we can also clean our loopers here on the AT2000D. So again, I'm going to set my machine up to lock my chambers according to my instruction manual. And then we're going to take the one end that does not have a loop through it, and we're going to push it down through this chamber, and it's going to come out. This is the lower looper, and this is going to come out all the way through. There it is. So it's going to come all the way through the lower looper. And then we have, again, this thicker 12 weight thread. Any thread would do, really. And we're going to just poke it through. And you see how it pulls out beautifully. So we could use these looper threaders. There is your part number right there. They come with the AT2000D air thread serger, but they also are available separately. They're looper threaders. There is the part number. And they will help you thread your loopers. And even on the FA4, they would still work as well. It will help you thread your loopers. But also, again, by pulling that slightly heavier thread through, then I've also cleaned any kind of lint that is coming through here. I'm pulling it through, so all that lint comes out. So after a while, these end up all very coily and kinky. So then you will need to replace them. But again, you can get replacements, no problem. So that, in a whirlwind, is how you would clean and maintain your serger in between taking it to your regular Janome dealer for, again, an authorized service, full service, where they take all the plastic covers off and they get all in there themselves and really do a really thorough job. This is just, again, a little temporary things you can do in between those major servicing. The biggest thing is lint. Even if you don't oil, lint is your worst enemy, just like in your regular sewing machine. So if you at least clean out all the lint, that is wonderful. And then again, if you're too nervous to oil, go with what your instruction manual tells you. And when in doubt, always consult your, again, Janome dealer, your authorized service technician. So if you're unclear where to oil, then don't do it. Just take it to your service technician and they will do it for you. Now, again, as I mentioned, when you clean and oil and maintain your serger, maybe a good time to change your needles. As a general rule for regular sewing, we say every 8 hours. But depending, again, your regular quilting cotton won't dull your needles as quickly as if you're doing, 2 and 3 layers of denim, for example. The thicker your fabrics, your needles will dull a little more quickly. When in doubt, I say throw it out. And your Janome Sergers very often have this little sticker or somewhere printed, certainly in the manual, that has printed what needles to use. And very often included in your sergers, this little sample pack, again, size 11 or slightly larger, size 14. They tell you what needles to use. You can also use, again, it says HA1SP, which is like your standard, household sewing needles. But here I'm using, there you see it says 1SP, just like my machine tells me, HA, which basically means a flat back a needle, 1SP, and there's a size 11 and size 14. These are ballpoint needles, so they're great to use for knit fabrics. And we can see with our Janome needle guide that is on our janome.ca website, they will specifically say, yes, we can use these ballpoint needles. And again, our serger needles in particular, then we've got the size 11 and size 14 there. So this Janome needle guide is available on our janome.ca site. And you will find lots of information there of what needles to use when. So again, when in doubt, maybe now is a good time when you're cleaning your serger to change your needles. Now, I also wanted to mention here on the AT2000D workbook. Now, we only have the AT2000D workbook for our serger, our top-of-the-line serger here. But, so you may say, oh, well, I have an FA4, I have a 802D serger. But this workbook is great about, again, balancing stitches, and they go through about adjusting your tensions. Now, here are specific adjustments like the cutting width on the dial. That's different on the AT2000D, but most of the time, the machine setup, talking about differential feed, again, your dials may look a little different, but the principles of using differential feed are the same, regardless of what model your serger is. For things like gathering, again, it's the same adjustment. The dial looks a little different, of what you'll turn, but as far as what to do, how to do it, it's all the same, and regardless of what serger. Again, how you adjust it to make the rolled hem. Maybe you don't have your dials and these little knobs that look exactly the same, but they tell you how to set it up. You see here, they say to turn it to R, your differential feed, your chaining finger, the little stitch finger, the upper knife, is it activated, deactivated? What is your lower looper tension? What are all of your needle tensions? All of that is explained here in the AT2000D workbook. Or the lettuce edge, for example, that I talked about previously. All of that is in your AT2000D workbook. So maybe you don't have a built-in spreader to your machine, but you can still get a lot of great information out of this workbook. So do consider it. It's the AT2000D Professional Serger Workbook. So even if you don't have this model specifically, even if you have an FA4 or another Janome serger, you can still get a lot of that great information of how to do all these adjustments that I showed earlier. Also, again, make sure you check your instruction manuals to go over how to clean and maintain your serger specifically. And also, I wanted to mention in a lot of the manuals now, the back, when I demoed, where I demonstrated a lot of these accessories last week, for example, the gathering attachment there, the elastic gathering attachment, the cloth guide, where it talks about the piping feet and the beading feet, and there's another bunch of accessories as well. Here is all the part numbers. Check the back of your instruction manual. Newer machines will have these part numbers there. If not, you can find on the accessories tab on the janome.com and janome.ca, and double check with your fabulous Janome dealer. So, as always, my time flew by, but there in a whirlwind is some general tips and tricks on how you can clean and maintain your Serger. But as always, any doubt, make sure that you double check with your fabulous Janome dealer and authorized service technician to do a good deep cleaning of your machines. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today. And you can, yes, double check for your dealers as well. Go to janome.ca. There's a where to buy or find a dealer tab on janome.ca and janome.com. So you'll be able to find your dealers there. Type in your postal code and you'll see which ones are closest to you. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today. It's wonderful to see you all, and I will see you all next week. Have a fabulous rest of the week. Thank you. Bye.